All right. I think we are live now. Just a second. Sorry for the delay. We were having some technical difficulties, but we're all set now. My name's Megan. I teach at the Movement and in Boulder. And tonight's class is going to be a 1 hour yin restorative class. So we're going to focus a bit on hips and spine mobility. It's a really good idea for any yin class to have lots of props with you. You can see behind my head, I've got a few pillows stacked up. Whatever you have at home is fine. You can grab pillows from your bed, from the couch. You can roll up some towels. The idea is to prop yourself up so you can slowly ease your way into poses. Practicing with me is my husband, Callan, and our dog, Wiley, so he's going to be around. So grab your pillows and we'll get started. So we're going to start in a seated meditation for a few minutes just to connect, moving inward a little bit. So find a comfortable seat on a pillow, or if you have a yoga block, go for it. You can use a yoga block as well. Let me get my timer going. So come to a comfortable seat. You can either have your legs crossed in front of you, or you can have your knees up by your side, whatever allows you to keep a nice tall spine. So once you come to a comfortable seat, close your eyes. And to lift your chest, drop your shoulders back, letting your shoulders align directly over your hips here. Everything's in a nice solid line, rising up from your sacrum. So start to connect into your breathing. So using your breath is really helpful through yin. It can help you go a little bit deeper into poses and also help reconnect you to what you're doing in case your mind begins to wander. So start taking a few deeper breaths here, just feeling the air fill up your lungs, and seeing if you can move your breath to different parts of your body. So help your breath allow you to sit taller. And at the same time, use your breath to release something. So maybe your exhales help you release your shoulders down. The muscles in your face relax, your jaw relaxes. Make sure you're not closing your eyes tightly. Allow your eyes to just really effortlessly be closed. So take this opportunity to scan your body from head to toe. So this is a chance to just check in, see where you might be feeling a little tense, a little tight. And also begin to check in with your mind, so your thought patterns. So if you have any pestering thoughts, see if you can use your breath to help you release some of those. So every exhale, maybe release your grip on some of those pestering thoughts. Doing what you can to just create sort of a blank slate for yourself. So if you're new to yin or restorative yoga, the goal here is to hold poses for a long time. So we're going to get into connective tissue. I'll talk about this a little bit later on, but generally we'll hold poses from 3 to 5 minutes. And the props will help you ease into the poses. So we're not pushing, it's more of a practice of observation. And slowly begin to open your eyes on your next inhale. And begin to move your block or your pillow or your towel to the side. So coming to a comfortable seat. So first pose we'll do is a butterfly pose. So you want your soles of your feet together, knees open wide. So it really depends on how your hips are here. So if your hips are really open, you might find that your knees go straight down. If you're like me and your hips are tight, you might want your feet a little bit farther away from you. So we're going to come to a forward fold here, but if this is a tough position for you, begin to grab your pillows and prop them up. So you can have them kind of right in your lap. I'd recommend putting your hands to your feet, so you're kind of opening up your feet as though you're opening up a book. And start to fold forward. Again, the goal here is more to ease yourself into it. So I'd say go to maybe like 60% of what you would normally do. This is where the pillows come in handy. So what you can do is over the course of the next couple minutes, you can begin to remove pillows if you find that you're easing in a little bit more quickly. Yeah, just hug them, whatever allows you to sort of prop up. So butterfly posture is a really good one if you're trying to get a lower back stretch or so spine stretch. If you have really tight hamstrings. So sometimes a forward fold with your legs straight can be really hard if you have tight hamstrings. So this is another way to get into the lower spine without dealing with tight hamstrings and whatever problems that creates. So we've got about a minute left in this posture. So if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can remove a pillow and just allow gravity to do the work. So the goal is never to use muscle strength to pull yourself into a posture. You'll need to use a little bit of muscle strength just to keep yourself upright. But really, it's just allowing time to allow your connective tissue to loosen. So breathe into wherever you're finding some tightness and be patient. Eventually the tissue will soften and you'll be able to go a little bit further. Maybe not in this session, but in the future, that's the goal. Slowly begin to push yourself back up. Remove whatever props you're using, but just put them to the side. So coming out of these postures can be a little intense because the longer you sit somewhere, the sort of more vulnerable you are to injury when you come out of it. So make sure you're moving really slowly. And a nice counter posture in between hip and groin, kind of like leg opening, is just dropping your knees like windshield wipers from side to side. So just bringing just a little gentle movement, nothing too severe, just a little bit of movement through the joints. All right, so we'll do dragonfly next. So this is a wide leg forward fold. And again, I would recommend grabbing pillows. This can be a hard one. So as much as you want, I've got 3 here just because it's nice to go really slow into them. How are you gonna, yeah. So we're not too worried about what your feet are doing. If they're folding in, that's okay. If they're open, that's okay. Not too worried about alignment in that sense. So as you have your blocks or your pillows, bolsters, whatever you have handy, begin to fold forward. You can use your arms to kind of hug the pillows. And just like we did in the other pose, try to limit how far you go. And a good limit to find is going to what's called a respectful edge for your body. So you know where it begins to pull and feel tight, and just stop there, because it's not about pulling yourself into a pose with your muscles. If you're pulling your muscles, then your muscles aren't relaxed and your connective tissue won't be targeted. So this whole practice is to get into the tissues. So begin to drop down. Feel really good to just close your eyes and focus on your breath through these postures. And feel free throughout the few minutes that we'll be here to move the pillows or your props as often as you need to. I'll give you cues when we're about 30 seconds to a minute out in case you want to drop a little lower before the end of the pose. Got about 30 seconds left here, so if you want to go a little deeper, maybe moving a pillow, go for it for the final 30 seconds. Or stay right where you are if you're feeling some nice opening happening. And slowly begin to push yourself back up. Take your time. And again, like we did before, pull your legs together. You can use the backs, your hands on the backs of your knees to help pull your legs together. And then again, just drop your knees from side to side. Just releasing through the lower spine and through the hips. All right, so our next posture will be half pigeon pose. So getting into the hips. And if you have any knee issues, I'm going to show you an alternative. Callan, I'll jump into pigeon so you can see what pigeon looks like, half pigeon. So if you have any knee pain, you can do this on your back. It still does the same thing. So cross your right ankle over your left knee and then just reach between behind your left leg and drop your shoulders down. So again, you can kind of play with how deep you go there. The goal isn't to go too deep, obviously, but that is a good alternative if you're finding that you have some knee pain. So for pigeon, the same as we did with the other poses, find some props. So even if this is a pose where you can normally go straight to the ground, I'd recommend backing off a little bit. So your muscles are cold. There's no reason to drop into the deepest pigeon you've ever done. In case you can't see our alignment, our front or right knee is bent, left leg straight up behind you. So props or pillows in front of you, and then just begin to lean forward. So if you find that your mind kind of instantly begins to wander while you're in these poses, your breath is a great way to bring you back. So focusing but not controlling your breath, so just observing your inhales and your exhales will help ground you back in the pose and kind of helps to remind you to observe what's happening. And that's kind of the whole point to be in. So rather than the yang sort of vinyasa or ashtanga practices, yin is the practice of observation. So it's patience, it's time, and it's just observing what's happening in the body. So we're about halfway through. If you want to go a little deeper, you can move a pillow. And just finding a posture that doesn't really require much strength. So you don't want to feel like you're having to hold yourself up off the ground. So if you find that that's the case and this is a little too deep, just bring back the pillows and just find that nice, respectful edge again for your body. About 1 minute left, so feel free to remove another pillow or stay right where you are. Slowly begin to bring yourself back up. So take your time again here. And come out of it. I'm just going to drop down onto your right hip. And again, bring your legs out in front of you. And you might want to bounce your knees a little bit. Release whatever is going on in there. And then do the windshield wipers if you'd like. Kind of whatever counter postures feel good. Sometimes it's nice to actually lie fully flat down on your back. So if you feel like you need a bit more of a rest between postures, go for it. These are just a few options to just help release anything that kind of felt like it was building up through the pose. All right, so when you're ready, begin to set up for the left side. So left leg is bent. Your shin should be moving towards parallel, but obviously it's not that important. It's more important that you find a comfortable position. Check that your right leg is straight up behind you, and then grab some props. So whatever you started with on the other side, I'd say start with that again, and then if you need to go a little bit deeper, you can always take them away. Or you can always fold them up and make them a little bit taller if you're finding this side is a little more intense. So it's pretty often that our bodies aren't exactly the same from side to side. So just before you slide straight into it, take the time to check to see how it's feeling. Close your eyes and observe, and then do what you need to do to be still. So the goal is to be as still as possible in these poses. About halfway through, so feel free to remove any pillows or props you like. 1 minute left in this posture, so you can take away a prop if you'd like, or stay where you are. Slowly begin to rise, taking your time as you push yourself back up. And drop over onto your left hip. Pull your right leg forward, and again, you can do the knees bouncing. Drop your knees from side to side. And you can always lie down if you want to fully release between postures. All right, so next pose is seated forward fold. So if you have tight hamstrings, this might feel a little tricky for you, which is fine. If your knees bend, that's not really a problem at all. Goal is to release the lower back again. So grab your props, as many as you need. Drop them on top of your lap. And then once you feel like you're fully propped up, allow yourself to sink forward. Letting your arms just come down by your side. So there's no need, I know like a lot of times there's a tendency to want to grab your feet and pull. So that is a great stretch if you're going for the muscles, but we're going for connective tissue. So we're getting more into the spine here. So what that means is you want your muscles as relaxed as possible. So the tissues and joints can't really release, can't lengthen if your muscles are tight. So keep that in mind. See how relaxed you can be in this posture. So allow your head to drop. And again, even if you find that you can normally go pretty deep in this posture straight away, I'd recommend still keep yourself propped up, at least in the beginning. You can always remove props as you go, but really want the full benefit of the 5 minutes. So there's absolutely no rush to come into this. And we're about halfway through this pose, so if you want to go a little bit deeper, now is a good time to remove one of your props. And if you are finding that your mind is wandering, just see if you can come back to observing the breath. So by observing the breath, you instantly start to turn inward. And observing what happens in the body is one of the best things about yin. So really feeling how the energy moves through your body, especially throughout these postures, it's a really valuable part of the practice. About 30 seconds left, so if you want to go deeper for the last 30 seconds, go for it. Slowly begin to push yourself back up. Move your props and begin to come onto your hands and your knees. Bring your knees together. We're going to do a variation of child's pose, knees together. And you're going to drop your forehead down, letting your arms just kind of cactus out to the sides. Nice little transition posture. So allow just everything to relax here. Shouldn't require any effort. Slowly begin to rise. And when you're ready, make your way into a tabletop. So we're going to do some really gentle cat-cow here, just a nice transition. So drop your belly, lift your chest, and then round out. Just move in whatever way feels good here, whether it's from side to side, making circles. This is just a transition posture, so really whatever allows you to feel like you're getting into the right parts of the body. So nothing too quick or too difficult, just stretching where it feels good. All right. When you've had enough of that, we're going to set up for dragon pose next. So I find this one to be kind of intense, so I like lots and lots of props. What you're going to do is keep your left leg behind you and bring your right leg forward. So it's a low lunge to start. And this is another hip opener. So what's going to happen is you're going to begin to lean forward. Again, this is where the props come in handy. I'm actually going to grab one more. And you can allow your right knee to kind of open up to the side a little bit here. We're not too worried about the alignment of, knee over ankle. That's not too important. What you want is to find a position that allows you to pause. So again, this is kind of an intense one. So you might find that it's a little bit harder to be relaxed here. This is where extra props come in handy. So find a position that allows you to stay for at least a couple minutes. We're not going to be here for the full 5. And see what you can do to resist the urge to move or adjust. And just kind of observe what's happening in your hips and what's happening in your mind. Because often when we're in difficult hip openers, it's just hard to settle. So that is part of the struggle of the end. You're trying to quiet, trying to observe, and not do. So this is one of those postures where you can really practice that. Begin to push yourself back up. And push props to the side. And then you have a couple options for a transition here. You can either go back to child's pose to rest, or you can just lie flat on your belly for a couple breaths. You can kind of rock your hips from side to side so you can kind of release through your hips here. And then when you're ready, begin to push yourself back up if you're on your belly. And set up for the other side. So left leg comes forward like a low lunge. And then again, try to find some position where you can pause and be still for at least a couple minutes. So get as many props as you need. And again, it's okay if your left knee opens up to the side a little bit. when you're ready, begin to push yourself back up. Moving your props to the side of your mat. This time, drop down to your belly and cactus out your arms. Let your head fall to one side. You can move your hips from side to side if you feel like you need to release it all. And also bend your knees and let your feet fall from side to side. So that can kind of help release things too. And when you're ready, begin to prop yourself up on your forearms. So we're going to set up for Sphinx pose. So generally you want sort of elbows under your shoulders. Not too worried about alignment, but that's what you want to move towards. And hands straight out in front of you. So let your gaze be really soft here. So you can even close your eyes if you'd like. Let your belly descend. And check in with your lower spine a little bit here too. So you're finding that the longer that you're in this posture, the more your lower back starts to feel a little achy. You can practice sort of squeezing your legs together a little bit. It takes a little bit of pressure off your low back. So you can always go a little lower if you're finding it's a little too intense on your low back. So feel free to play with the height of this. I'm here for about another minute, so if you would like to get a little bit of a deeper back bend here, you can always come up onto your hands. Sort of press yourself up. Again, try to let your shoulders relax here so you don't want to be really pushing as though you were doing a high cobra or an upward facing dog. This is more passive than that. So let yourself kind of sink into your shoulders. This is really about the lower spine more than any kind of shoulder or arm strengthening. And if you're finding that you do this for maybe like 20 seconds and it just feels like too much, just back down and go back to Sphinx. For the last 30 seconds to a minute or so, you can drop your head down. Just getting into the back of your neck and between the shoulders. Slowly come back and allow your chest to drop. Just bringing your hands together so you can rest your forehead on your hands. release that and begin to roll yourself over onto your backs. So you just roll straight over, and we're going to do one spinal twist before we finish. So lying flat on your back, I want you to pull your right knee into your chest and then just let it fall over to the left. So this is an easy spinal twist. Shouldn't feel too difficult. We're just getting kind of again into the low back. Slowly begin to unwind. Bring your knee back into your chest. And then straighten out your leg. Just let that release for a moment before you switch sides. When you're ready, bring your left knee in. And push it over to the right. And slowly begin to unwind again. So bring your left knee into your chest and straighten out your left leg. And we're going to come into Shavasana, our final resting posture next. If there are any other postures you'd like to do before you finish your practice, feel free to go for it. Less is sometimes more with yin, so no pressure to do anything. I'd recommend just taking your Shavasana. Fully relaxed. Let your feet fall open, arms down by your sides. Let your palms face the ceiling. Let your shoulders drop down. Let your breath be completely natural. Again, just observing whatever changes you find throughout your body. So from head to toe, scanning and seeing what feels different or shifted. And we'll be here for a few minutes. So just enjoy and observe and relax. And begin to start moving your fingers and your toes. Stretch your arms overhead, point your toes, take a nice long stretch on your mat. Bend your knees and keep your eyes closed as you roll over onto your right side. When you're ready, begin to push yourself back up to a seated position for a moment. Sweep your arms up and overhead. And moving down through your midline. Pausing at your heart, we'll take an inhale and exhale together to finish class. And and thank you all for practicing tonight. Hopefully that was nice and relaxing for you. So definitely good to take it easy for the rest of the day. It's towards the end of the day anyway, but yin should help you sleep better, should help you feel a lot more at ease. It's really great practice just for restoring and bringing more flexibility into your body. So thanks again for practicing with me tonight, everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Bye. Wiley says bye. Thanks, everyone.